Today is March 3rd. You know what that means? 3 years ago today, the Nintendo Switch released. And man, I remember we were talking about how little launch titles it had. And now look at it today, where it's got so many great games, it's hard to narrow down 10 the best. So I made it top 10 best Switch exclusives. But even that was pretty tough. But that's what we're counting down today. Hi guys, I'm DPX. Welcome to the top 10 Nintendo Switch exclusives. Now keep in mind, certain games won't be on this list because I don't have or I haven't played them. Just want you to keep that in mind, and it's also my opinion. These are also Switch exclusives. No Wii U ports like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, or Pokken Tournament DX, or Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem. They aren't going to be on here. No games like Doom, Skyrim, Witcher, and no games like Octopath Traveler or Untitled Goose Game, as they released on Nintendo Switch exclusively, but they did go on other consoles afterwards. So, that's that. Anyways, guys, let's get started. Before we do that, you know what to do. Be sure to like this video, subscribe if you're new, turn on notifications, and leave a comment, and you'll be a loyal subscriber.
I wanted to give to you, in the last part of your notes here, the significance spiritually of the number 10.
I said no ports or multiplats, but Link's Awakening is a remake, so that makes it eligible for number 10. Now, I don't actually have this game. There's one other game on here that I don't have, but I have actually played this game, and it's really good, as it adds a lot to the original Game Boy game. In the Zelda Link's Awakening remake, there's a ton of changes, like the claymation-looking art style. I don't know what else to call it. The game looks like it's made of clay, the art style, but who cares? It looks awesome. And a dungeon maker, possibly testing the waters for a Zelda maker down the road, which I'd be down for. The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening remake is one hell of a remake for a game that really needed one. Look, just like most gamers, I'm getting sick of Battle Royales. Stuff like Apex Legends, the dead PUBG, Battle Royale modes in games like Black Ops 4, and Fortnite are all starting to grow stale on me, in my opinion. I don't know about you guys, but in my opinion, they don't really do much to stand out from each other. But that's where Tetris 99 comes in and is a lot better. Tetris 99 is a Tetris Battle Royale, which sounds like it shouldn't work at all, but it definitely does. So well, in fact, that I'm honestly shocked I didn't think of this before. You're playing Tetris against 98 others also playing Tetris, and you're competing with them. It's simple, and you can also do stuff like send the other players blocks that can completely mess them up. If you have a Switch and Switch Online, and considering how this game is free, you have no reason not to play Tetris 99.
So I'm going to be giving this flavor 8.5 out of 10 scoops.
I'm not a big fan of anime, but I do know that there's a pretty big audience that is. One thing I am a big fan of, though, is Platinum Games, and that's why I really like Astral Chain. Astral Chain is an action-adventure game that has this distinctive Platinum Games style. The catch here, though, is that you actually control two separate characters, a cop and a chimera. If you're not sure what a chimera is, it is the alien-like creature in the game that you capture and make your own. There's also different types of chimera, from sword, brawler, archer, dog, and even more. Not to mention, it has quite an awesome soundtrack, and you actually care about the story here too. And the graphical style, man, it's one of my favorites. I'm actually kind of surprised not too many people talked about this game when it came out.
36.
Very close, but that's... Let's go to Gary the Retard. What number between 2 and 4?
Wanna know what could be weird sometimes? Crossovers. Some crossovers people actually ask for, while others no one asked for. And then you get crossovers that nobody asked for but totally works anyways. Case in point, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. That's right, you combine the world of Mario with the world of the Rabbids and the gameplay of XCOM. Yeah, not only does a crossover between these two exist, but it's a strategic RPG similar to XCOM, and it still works. The RPG aspect is unique and it's nice, plus you get Mario, Luigi, Yoshi, and Peach holding guns. How'd this happen?
Okay, Mrs. Puff, what's my final score?
6. Woo! I'm sure a lot of you watching probably only know Fire Emblem as that series that has too many Smash characters. That was a more recent discussion with Byleth being a newcomer in Smash Ultimate, but guys, the game he's from, Fire Emblem Three Houses, is great. It's a more unique game story-wise, as you have 3 separate houses, which are separate classes of fighters, hence the name 3 Houses. This makes the story into 3 separate games, and it also, doesn't make for a definitive story. Like, the story and the outcome and everything is based on which class you pick. The combat is also Fire Emblem goodness, and this might be one of the best Fire Emblem games, plus a really good story as well.
Oh, chills. Literal chills.
It was number 5. Number 5 was my brother.
Oh my god, I forgot about...
One thing I've noticed about the Nintendo Switch is that not only does it pretty much have a game from pretty much every mainline Nintendo franchise either already out or on the way, it also has games from franchises that aren't really even mainline, like Luigi's Mansion, with Luigi's Mansion 3. In my opinion, I don't really think there has been a bad Luigi's Mansion game. Say what you want about Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, I really like that game. With that being said though, I think Luigi's Mansion 3 is still the best one, as it has variety. What I'm referring to is the levels, or floors. Whenever you complete a floor, you unlock a button for an elevator to get to another floor. Those floors have different themes, like a garden, a theater, or my personal favorite being a movie set. For that Godzilla fight alone, seriously, you fight Godzilla in this game, that's awesome. Not to mention, this is probably one of the best looking games on the Nintendo Switch. All that makes it one of the best games on the Nintendo Switch.
7, 5. Number 4.
Getting a game like Super Mario Maker on the Wii U made the Wii U a unique and special console, in my opinion, because it's not too often you get a game like that. Getting a sequel to that game that's even better on the Switch makes the Switch even more special, if it wasn't already. Super Mario Maker 2 blows the first one out of the goddamn water, as it introduces way more features like slopes, stuff like that were obviously missing from the first game, and even introduces Super Mario 3D World, which kind of creates a new game in a new game. Also, one major problem with the first Mario Maker was the amount of just dumbass levels and no way to downvote them, making them very easy to come across, and you were only able to upvote them. Well, in Mario Maker 2, you now have the option to downvote those bad levels. Not to mention, that Link update was awesome. And this is a game to play for hours on end. Too bad it was very low on post-game content though, otherwise it might have been higher. We're not done with Mario, cause of course we gotta have Super Mario Odyssey on this list. Super Mario Odyssey was such a breath of fresh air, as it came out at a time where the public was starting to get a bit sick of the new soup games, and even games like 3D World. Mario Odyssey goes back to the roots of games like 64, Sunshine, and the Galaxy games, as those were separate from the normal Mario games, and this one is 2. Due to the cappy mechanic. You throw your hat on an enemy and you become that enemy, absorbing their powers. So there's not really power-ups. That's sort of the power-up in this game. Not to mention, we visit worlds we never really do so in Mario. And there's a bunch of callbacks to older games. We even get Pauline in this game, which is really awesome. So this is just one of the best Mario games out there. And in my opinion, the third best Nintendo Switch game.
What kind of pencil do we take again?
Number 2. Take a number 2.
Looks like you took a big number 2.
On anyone else's list like this, I'm sure Breath of the Wild is number 1. But there's just one more game that I consider better than Breath of the Wild in my personal opinion. Can you guess what that is? If you're living under a rock or you don't watch my videos? That's not to say Breath of the Wild is bad, as, oh, it's far from bad. Breath of the Wild is arguably the best Zelda game, and arguably the best game of the 2010s, and rightfully so, as there aren't too many, major flaws in this game. Sure, there's the weapons issue, but that's, it, and that's not that bad. Not to mention, it's open world, which translates very well into Zelda. An open world Zelda game is something I'm kind of surprised hasn't really happened before. When you see something, you can most likely go to it. That is awesome. There's also the visual style and the graphics as well. It's very polished. I mentioned that. As well as the soundtrack and even the story are all really nice. Not the voice acting though, but who cares? Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was one of the first Switch games to ever release, as it was a launch title, and 3 years later, it remains as one of the best. Guys, this isn't even funny anymore. I can't even tell you how many times I made a top 10 list and had Smash Ultimate, I'm at number 1. I can't even tell you how many videos I've made praising the game for its excellence. I can't remember the amount of times I've told you how awesome it is that the game is packed with content, packed with characters, packed with stages. How the game is a celebration of not just Nintendo, but video games as a whole. The DLC characters are insane. Who would have actually predicted Banjo-Kazooie would have actually made it into Smash, back on a Nintendo console? There may have been some better games objectively on here, but in my opinion, Smash Ultimate is everything I want in a video game, ever. That's why it comes in at number 1. Well, everything except Dante, and Gino, and Travis Touchdown, and Crash Bandicoot, and Scorpion from Mortal Kombat, and Gus. Anyways, that was my list, guys. What'd you think? Be sure to comment below about how I forgot about Splatoon 2, ARMS, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, all that fun stuff. Because I either haven't played those games or I don't think they're that good. Yeah, that's right, I don't really think Splatoon 2 is that good. Don't hurt me. Well, what are your 10 favorite Switch games? And you don't have to follow the same rules I did. Just list me your 10 favorite down below if you want. Bye, guys.